Welcome back. In this lesson, we will analyze the muscles of the back. So I already prepared a series of patterns of the muscle because this way it's going to be easier for you to memorize the muscles using this map. It's almost a map of the United States in here with the different colors with Nebraska, Indiana, etc. So we're going to see now how all these muscles become from flat patterns will become more volumetric objects. So let's start with the trapezius. The neck, we're going to leave it alone because the neck we're going to see it later on in a specific lesson. So the trapezius is a beautiful muscle. It looks like a kite. See that it has this kind of idea of a kite. When I'm going to show the other half, it's going to become even more clear. It starts from the back of the head in here and goes down along the spine all the way down to the bottom of the rib cage. It connects with the spine of the scapula. See that? So below that, I'm going to have the deltoid shape, okay, that start from the bottom portion of the spine of the scapula down to the side of the humerus halfway down. Here, I'm going to have the pattern of the latissimus dorsi or dorsal muscle. It's going to look like a corset. See, it kind of wraps around the lower part of the thorax like a corset. In this area here, which I like to call the pie slice because it kind of looks like a pie slice, actually it helps me remember what this shape looks like. And in this area here, I'm going to have the teres muscles and the infraspinatus. We're going to see them more in detail. This is going to be the volume of the tricep. And in the forearm, I have blocked in three main volumes, three main groups of muscles. We are going to simplify these because it is a very complicated area and we don't need to go too much in detail, but I will provide you with a more specific image that you can access on the platform. So this muscle in here is the external oblique. Remember from the front, this muscle it covers a little bit of the front, the side, and then goes down to the iliac crest. This is the portion of the external oblique that we see from the back. Okay, and of course we have the glutei, gluteus medius and gluteus maximus. This aponeurosis here is a thick tendinous band that basically it's between the rib cage and the hips, and muscles will connect with this thick band. Okay, so let's start coloring now the trapezius and see and add some information about the fibers of trapezius. So we're going to go from the back of the head here, just below the nuchal line, and along the center of the spine here, all the way down to the 12 thoracic vertebrae. So this muscle will come in like this, the back, goes over the scapula. This is going to be the spine of the scapula. See that? The spine of the scapula. So the trapezius will attach above the spine of the scapula. So in the back, I'm going to feel here in the back a hard line, which is the spine of the scapula. Above this line, I have the trapezius, as you can see. Below this line, I'm going to have the deltoid. So this is going to be the pattern of the trapezius. The trapezius will cover this corner of the scapula. So this is the scapula. This is the vertebral margin of the scapula. This corner in here will be covered by the trapezius. So the trapezius is the muscle that caps everything. The trapezius is going to be slightly over the deltoid, over these muscles in here of the scapula, and then the latissimus dorsi. So it's the muscle that is on top of everything. Okay. So now let's see what happens in terms of fibers. So you can see the fibers of the trapezius are going to go different ways. It is a big, flat muscle. It will coat the underlying structures and will take the form from the underlying volumes, okay? So as you can see, in this configuration here, I had the muscle going all the way down to the 12. In reality, the fibers, the muscular fibers will stop much higher, and the lower portion of this muscle is tendinous. So we're not going to see muscle all the way down to the 12 thoracic. It's going to stop a little bit higher. And here in the middle, I'm going to have tendons connecting this muscle in here with the spinosus processes. These, let me see from the side, these protuberances here in the back of the spine, okay? So, trapezius. Now, we're going to move on and see a little bit. See, the next muscle we're going to see is going to be the muscles of the shoulder before I cover them with the deltoid. The muscle of the shoulder are going to be supraspinatus, which we don't see because it's under the trapezius. I'm going to have the infraspinatus, okay, here. Let me color it with a nice yellow here. This is the infraspinatus, okay, and it goes from this upper portion, upper half of the scapula, just below the spine, to cover the upper half of the head of the humerus. So this is going to be the head of the humerus, and this is the diaphysis, the shaft of the humerus. It is going to cover the upper half, and with this tendon will attach to the lateral side of the head of the humerus, helping in keeping in the humerus inside, in connection, in contact with the glenoid fossa. Okay, so below that, below this muscle here, I'm going to have the teres minor. Teres minor means the small round one, because when this is contracted, what we see is a small little ball, because most of it will be covered by the deltoid, and in here, just below it, I'm going to have the teres major, because again, when it's contracted, I'm going to see a bigger ball, and the difference between a teres major and teres minor is that one muscle, the teres minor, will help supinate the arm together with the infraspinatus. The teres major will pronate the arm, move them inward. Okay, so this because the teres minor, along with the infraspinatus, will move to the back of the head of the humerus, and the teres major will move to the front. So as you can imagine, this muscle will turn the diaphysis this way, and this muscle, this way, and then this group of muscles in here will turn the arm this way. Okay. So, okay. In between here, I had going to have a space where the trapezius, the long head of the trapezius, the tricep, will go. Okay, so these are the muscles of the shoulder. From under here, I'm going to see a little bit the rhomboideus. Okay, so I want to include that because it is going to be visible in a flayed figure. Rhomboideus here. And now I'm going to put the corset of the latissimus dorsi, the dorsal muscle, over the muscle of the shoulder here, like this. Okay. This muscle in here will go to the humerus, to the shaft of the humerus here. Okay. So let's see if we can use a darker color for this. Well, it's not darker. Here. Okay. So this muscle in here is the latissimus dorsi, which means the big one of the back, or dorsal muscle, okay? So it will start for a very small, actually, it will start from a very, very big area here, from the sixth here down all the way to the bottom of the base of the spine, attaching onto this aponeurosis, and then move on to the iliac crest, and then go here to the medial face, medial side of the shaft of the humerus, twisting. So this portion in here will go up here like this. This portion in here, high, low, low, high, as we have seen before with the pectoralis. But to the front of this point of insertion, I'm going to have this muscle in here. Again, you can study this more carefully, accessing the images I'm going to provide you with in the platform. So now the interesting thing we want to pay attention to this is this, that here, this muscle here, the teres major, is going to be partially covered here. The lower corner here is going to be partially covered by the dorsal muscle. So what happens in here, the dorsal muscle is going to be a very thin muscle that coats the deeper muscles, and it will take the shapes from the deeper, more voluminous muscle underneath. So in this case here, I'm going to have the teres major given the shape of the latissimus dorsi, a specific bump in here. See that? Moreover, here, I'm going to have be more specific. In here, I'm going to have another bump here. This one coming from the serratus. Okay, so the serratus in here will imprint this volume, this curvature, this shape to the profile of the body and of the latissimus dorsi. So moving down here, I'm going to have the external oblique here. Okay, what I see of the external oblique, which is not much, but it's important because it adds to the profile of the figure. See that? So now what I want to see, what I want to notice is I want to stop a second and pay attention to the pattern of rhythms in the form that I see in this part of the body. So we're going to have a small bump, a medium bump, a bigger bump, and then a small bump. So you see 1, 2, 3, and 4. When you draw the body, you want to pay attention to these rhythms because they are always there, more or less, but they're going to be always there. So if you're able to capture these typical movement, this typical rhythm of the body, your figure will be much more harmonious and realistic. And the aesthetic component will be enhanced. So now we're going to put in here the aponeurosis, this thick fascia. that connects the latissimus dorsi with the skeleton, various portion of the skeleton. This fascia is very thick. And then we're going to go back a little bit to the shoulder here, because now I had to position my deltoid over here, no? So the deltoid is going to start from this. Okay, under the trapezius, I can still see the corner of the scapula. See that? Let me draw it in white so we can still see it. This is the corner of the scapula, no? So now my deltoid will start from under here, and then from here we'll cover this portion of the shoulder and move down to the middle of the length of the humerus on the side. Remember what we did with the front is we had the deltoid coating the golf ball of the head of the humerus, and then developing a little bit more of flesh, a little bit more volume, and then moving in, changing angle. So you want to pay attention as you draw this muscle and all other muscles to avoid doing a muscle like this. We have seen the Popeye forearm. You don't want to do that. You want to analyze these angles. See this angle in here, this angle in here, and then this angle in here. And see the relative length of the various segments, and then maybe you can connect them, merge them, and give the muscle a more organic, more realistic form, okay? So now, before we go too much in detail with the deltoid, I want to position in the form, the volume of the tricep. So tricep means three-headed muscle. We're only going to see two. Well, we can see part of the third one, but it's so small that, again, I prefer not to go into that. So what I want to do, you guys, is draw this forming here as a cylinder, okay? Draw it as a cylindrical forming here, like this, okay? So the long head of the tricep, which is this head in here, so I'm going to divide my cylinder in two smaller cylinders. The long head is going to go here through this space in here. See that? Right in there, under here, in there. Let me draw it quickly with a tendon like this. But as you draw this with the full figure, you don't need to worry about that because you're not going to see it. It's going to be covered by the deltoid. It's just an extra piece of information that I just wanted to throw in. So let me draw this a little bit better because it's getting a little bit messy. So this is going to be the cylindrical form of the tricep, okay? I think of this as a cylindrical form, like that. It's going to be easier to give it a volume. Then I'm going to divide it in two segments, like this, okay? Then from this point in here, on the level of the joint, I want to identify the olecranon. So the olecranon is this bump in here, okay? This is the olecranon, okay? So the tendon of the tricep will end up in here, like this, okay? So let's see what happens as we subdivide this further. As you come down with the line that divides the long head from the lateral head, I want to part it in the middle, okay? And then keep coming down now toward the olecranon. So here, this is going to be the tendon of the tricep. This is a very schematic view of the muscle. So they're not going to be so neat, you know, if you look at them. But we want to simplify them because we want to understand the essence of how these muscles behave, where they go, where they come from, etc. Okay. So now from here I can start putting the deltoid over the shoulder, and I'm going to cover all this muscle of the shoulder, or the infraspinatus, teres major, teres minor. And as I do this, oh, it's also transparent, so maybe I can still kind of have a see-through kind of effect in here. All right, so now you want this. So why did I stress the importance of drawing this as a curved line? See that as a cylinder? Because now as I put the deltoid over here, the line that I draw will be informed by the fact that this is a curve. So I'm going to have this muscle wrap over it and disappear onto the side. Okay, so if you think three-dimensionally, you will draw three-dimensionally. You will enhance your three-dimensional rendering of the muscle and the figure in general. Okay, so here we have the deltoid now, and now we're going to see the muscles of the forearm. Okay, so the muscles of the forearms are very complicated, but we can simplify them, schematize them as two basic groups. We have seen in a previous lesson how we have the different peaks, different peaks in the form. See, this peak is really difficult to see. This peak is going to be much more evident. Okay, we see what this peak is. So all these muscles in here, except for this muscle in here, all the muscle in here will be flexors of the carpus and of the fingers. See that? So these are flexor of the wrist and fingers. This muscle in here is going to be a flexor of the forearm. See that? So this is the brachioradialis, flexes the forearm. Okay. These muscles in here are going to be the extensor of the hand and the fingers. Okay, so the division between the extensors and the flexors is going to be the ulna. Okay, this is the bone of the ulna, separates the flexors from the extensors. So there is one more muscle I want to include, and it's this blue area here. See that? So this is going to be a flexor that pokes from the front, and we see the contour, the profile of this muscle in here, and it is the flexor carpi ulnaris. So this wraps it up pretty much for now, for this lesson, and with the next class we're going to see the shape and volumes of the hand and feet. If you have any questions, make sure to post them on the platform and I'll be happy to help you with that. See you then.